Okay, we about ready to start back up. I think Joe Leopold's up. Let me just remind those of you who are doing presentations, if you recall, when we put the templates up here, they follow it's got your strategic objective, your goal, and then how it adds value. If you follow that logic, I don't want you to read it, but that's the logic of, so it will help to, state your strategic objective and so on when you're doing them. So anyway, Joe.
Good morning. Couple things before we begin, and I know I have an awful lot of requests, so I want to just summarize some of them. They're in three stages. The first several slides you'll see are about people. They're about tutors and library paraprofessionals and some other positions that we are requesting, but they're all connected as frontline staff. They're all working with students. They're all expanding the services that we currently have. Then the second group is programming. So that involves things like supplemental instruction, the H-1B grant, and some of the other things that we're doing for students that are supporting the classroom. And then the third one is a capital request that you'll see. So these all fall under academic enhancements, except for the last one. You'll see a pretty quick slideshow. It's 20 seconds each. I'm going to talk our way through it, and I'll give some data along the way. But instead of focusing primarily on the data this year with these, I wanted to focus on what they're doing for students, because that's really what we're about, and that's what we're here for. Please go ahead, Jamil. These first series of requests are about tutors. This is a full-time budgeted math position at Seminole. We're requesting another one. Currently, we have 2 FTE. We want to provide better coverage for students at night and on weekends. We're open 70 hours a week, and quite recently we've run short a little bit at some periods of time. The second one is also a tutoring position that we're looking for at math. We might have to slow it down. Can we do that? Just X out of it real quick. 20 seconds will be tough. Trying something a little bit different. Go ahead, click on that slide.
He made 1 20-second slide. Okay, one. Okay.
I'm an innovator. We're also seeking some additional support. Go to the next slide. At Health Education Center, we need a tutor in nursing. We're going to request this out of the Perkins funds. We've not made a request for additional tutoring in 10 years at the Health Education Center. This is Jim LaBeouf. You can see, we're working quite a bit there. We're also working with the HEC Library. And so we do an awful lot in the way of help for library instructions. The librarians come over and work with Jim and the tutoring staff, Ann Nyberger and Pam Markford. And this is another position that we are requesting. Next one, please. This refers to the Midtown. Midtown does not have a full-time science position. You can see this is Tarpon Springs. This is a Sunday. And so we are hoping that by having a full-time science position at Midtown, we will be able to get the kind of models that John was talking about. We'll go work in the learning lab with the faculty members and the lab assistants to create a similar environment that you currently see here at the Tarpon Springs campus. Next one, please. We're also requesting a half-time position at Clearwater for writing. This is a writing tutor working with students in the writing studio. As some of you may know, we've received a number of requests from students with disabilities to help them. Those sessions are typically longer. We have some folks working in there now, but the half-time person will help us help students at night and again on Saturday as we're open in the library Saturdays most of the day. The next one, please. Writing tutors do workshops, as you see here at Seminole. They provide for class visits. They make sure that students are getting the help they need in all of the courses that they have writing requirements for. So they do outreach to the social sciences, to humanities, fine arts. They work tightly and closely with the ethics department. And you can see here another example of the kinds of things that we're doing with students, in front of students, to help them. Next, please. I'm also requesting 2 administrative services assistant positions, one at Seminole. This is currently Christina Blackman. She will no longer be there in this position in the fall. as well as at Midtown. These folks provide support to students. They work in front of students. They also give support to the staff who work there. They take messaging, they take inbound calls, they help with programming, they liaise with departments, but they are right in front of students throughout their entire 40-hour work week. Thank you. Next one. We shift a little bit into a position. This is Anna Tingley in the glasses. I'm asking for an upgrade of her position. She is the full-time budgeted instructional support specialist. We're asking for her to be made a senior instructional support specialist. Anna manages that entire room at the Tarpon Springs campus. She monitors all of the lower level staff. She creates materials, course content materials get loaded into my courses. She works with all the science faculty there. And she also tutors as part of her 40-hour work week. Next slide. We'll move a little bit into the programming. These are students at the Health Education Center. As some of you may know, the H-1B grant is expiring in July of this year. It was a grant that we'd received 3 years ago. We want to continue the funding portion of it for tutoring. Students who are ADN and BSN students have received 120 hours of tutoring weekly since the grant started, and this is an example of where we would do it for them at the Health Education Center. Again, NIP is just to the right through a wall. Next one. Another initiative we have is for $50,000 of supplemental instruction. This is something that Dean Chapin and I have been working on. We want to extend this to 5 campuses, $10,000 per campus. The supplemental instruction would be in introductory biology classes and chemistry classes. We know that success rates for students in introductory chemistry classes are in the 60s, 66, 67% success rate. And we know that if we could provide the same kind of a supplemental instruction that we do for A&P students in A&P classes, we could get that rate higher by at least 10%. Biology is a good bit higher. This is an example of doing some supplemental instruction at the Clearwater campus in the Science Center there. Next slide. If you haven't been to the Gibbs Library, shame on you. It's been totally renovated. This was once the room that contained the Russian collection. Now it is the Retro Joe's Cafe. It features all kinds of things for students to do. They can be a little bit louder. They can have some food in there. We've got an iTunes station where they can dock in and put some music on. But you can see the glass is beautiful. It shows out to the rest of the library. And one of the things we want to do is continue our programming efforts there at the Gibbs campus. As we've made these changes, and as the next slide will show you, we removed almost 50,000 books on this side of the library on the second floor. We created workstations for students. They can plug in and bring their laptops. They can do other kinds of things that are related to My Courses, and then the tutors help them behind. For a second, I just want to stop because this begins talking a little bit now about the programming. One of the requests we have is for an additional $20,000 for Turnitin.com. If you don't know, it's a writing enhancement tool that's very popular with faculty that allows faculty to have students write multiple drafts that check for originality. This is especially important in those classes that are requiring research. More importantly, the number of submissions has increased. Several years ago, it was in 30 to 40,000, and now, as I presented to Dr. Law and Dr. Cooper this last week, it's at 83,000 submissions this year for the use of Turnitin.com. It is in every course of My Courses, and it is there for faculty to use. So that's a bit of a programming issue that we want to help with. Next slide. Several positions I also want to ask for that support programming are paraprofessional positions. So as you had seen at the St. Pete Gibbs campus, to cover for reference and work with the writing tutors, we're asking for 30 hours of OPS funding for a paraprofessional. If you don't know it, the paraprofessionals are the highest level of the library services technicians positions. They are able to do circulation. They can do basic library search. They can help with writing. They can help students get their other library services needs met, fines, and so forth. Here is Cassie Sherman at the Tarpon Springs campus helping a student with My Courses. We routinely do this on the library side where we help students get into My Courses, navigate around, and furthermore, because we have created a partnership with Dr. Smiley's team, all students in SLS 1101 have to complete a research assignment. And that's primarily what we do with students when they're going into My Courses. on the writing side. Next slide, please. Here again, the other thing that we know that the paraprofessionals have been assigned to do, along with tutors, but when tutors are busy, we have the library staff do it, is give class visits and tours to the facilities. They give students a complete look at what we provide there, and not just in that building, but they also refer students, and this is the case of Tarpon Springs, to the outreach specialists who have begun working there, just like I would imagine that they'll begin working at downtown or Midtown when we change facilities in that location as well. Last one, programming. We do an awful lot of programming with students. If you didn't know, last year we did an ENC orientation that was zombie themed. We did this based on some survey data we collected from students about what they thought was really popular. I know those of us in the room are probably not looking at what a 21-year-old thinks is cool, but zombies are cool. And so we based it on zombies last year. What we're also requesting, though, is someone who can help us with graphic design. And this is a little bit of what we've done with Chad Marin and some librarians to create these graphics that we were able to roll out in a 45-minute session to students that was zombie-themed about how to find help. Finally, and I know I'm running close for time, the downtown build-out. I am requesting $300,000 that we build out the downtown. It involves a switch. We need to move out of this, what you see, 1,600 square foot learning center that houses the 5 tutors there and the 22,000 students who visited last year. It needs to be moved to another location across the hall, and you'll see that picture in a second, that is about 5,000 square feet, and that's more in line with what you see at Clearwater. Here's Professor Sham from the social sciences bringing a class of students in for a visit. He's doing it standing right at the tutor's station, which is fine, but you can see the room is quite small. That's the writing side of that room if you've not seen it. Next slide, please. And that's what it looks like when students are not there for class visits. That's the sole writing tutor, Logan Mabe. He gets some support from Lauren Clark, who also does that, but she does math as well. And you can see students are on the computers. They're looking back at him. Why aren't you over with me? I need some help. Can you see me? And Logan's covering everybody. Next slide. This is the space we're looking at proposing. So it is across the hall from where the current learning center is. The second piece of that would be moving the computer lab on the second floor into the existing learning center. It's 5,000 square feet approximately. The room goes all the way back and then from your viewpoint takes a sharp right and forms a very wide open area that you can do all kinds of programming with students in sciences. You could do library instructions back there. You could have computers, as many computers as you need in there along the wall. A couple more slides. This is what it looks like from the side that we were at. The windows could be great places for study rooms for students. We don't have quiet study at the downtown area. In fact, the only room that really has quiet study is in the computer lab, and that's one room where students with disabilities come in. Which leads me to the other aspect. We're getting a lot more students with disabilities at downtown Midtown. We have 148 students quite frequently. They come in and get tutoring, and those sessions, as some of you know, take quite a long time. That's the door into the space that I'm proposing. And that completes my show. Thank you. Questions? Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jim Conley, Director of Corporate Training, Workforce, and Professional Development. Thanks, Joe. You had 5 finals after your last final slide. Just so if you wanted to know, I was counting.
There's more.
Dr. Law, thank you for this opportunity. A year ago, Dr. Law and Dr. Cooper challenged me, said, hey, we're doing some good things in corporate training. We've righted this ship. Now we need to accelerate forward. In that time, we visited colleges that have best practices, and we decided, here's what we can do that other people aren't doing, and not only if they're kind of doing it, we can do it better. So today I'm going to walk you through the expansion plan for corporate training and the rebranding. We're going to do it through 2 areas. We're going to do it through the Workforce Institute at St. Petersburg College, and I'm going to show you some industry certifications that we've provided this year, our current and our planned expansion. I'm going to show you how we did it with our pilot program. Then we're going to get into professional development and global corporate college. In 2013, we created a certification scoreboard, and you can see the number of certificates students earned for a total of 308. Greg Ninstill's working on the supply chain, and we should start that in March. So we currently have 0. The goal for 14-15 was a 5% increase, and you see we met that. We've exceeded that. We thought we'd get 462 industry certifications this year, and we're at 825 already with still 4 months to go. We have a breakdown of those industry certifications and licensures offered. There's 8 in manufacturing, and we think we could build that to 18, and as you read down the row, you can see there's a total of 89 for this year that we can offer, and we can grow that to 143 next year, and then you can see 168 and 197. We did the pilot through the 24 program. The 24 program is a day of boot camp, 22 days of online learning, and then you come back for presentations. With the fee of $995, the students get vouchers to take industry certification exams. They get test prep opportunity. And one of the things we found out in the program was 22 days between the start and finish wasn't as good. We had to have some break points. So we started bringing the instructor in for a couple hours, like on a Friday afternoon, where they could actually get into the coding more. Based on the industry certification and the IT gap analysis that was done, Agile development was implemented. I like this Agile development so much that we're going to implement that in corporate training. It's a real organized approach in how you can move forward. It's part of project management, and we'll do the Scrum techniques. As well as the benefits of the program and industry certifications, you can also become a member of Tampa Bay Technology Forum. We worked with Tampa Bay Technology Forum this year to get our students involved in networking and meeting each other. One of the unique things about the Technology Forum is they worked with Tech Data, as you saw at a couple board meetings ago, to create field experiences for our students. So we're also taking our students and putting them in the exploratory labs. That starts 2 weeks. Found out yesterday that Cisco was so behind this that they offered every student a program. There's 22 of them, and they're not all ours. Sharon Sutherland has several in there. Cisco offered them $2,500 of training to get their Cisco industry certification. So that program is growing, and that's not added to the list. What I wanted to point at is the participants getting jobs. Took this over in year 2, and we've grown it to 124 students that have received jobs. We did this with a part-time person. Of the 124, 3 of them are over 6 figures, and WellCare just called the other day and made an offer that we will hire 7 of your beginning students at $60,000 a year. Oh. Not a bad starting salary. So obviously we're going to be offering more Java, we're going to be offering more .NET type classes, so look for that in the future. And the certifications, I know those numbers aren't very good, but we were doing self-reporting, we just opened a test center. So it's one of those almost flying the airplane while you're building it. I hate to use that analogy, but we're getting after it. And the other part is Global Corporate College. The benefits of joining corporate college is there's 50 community colleges and universities throughout the United States that have programming. So we have access to all their instruction. And if we have somebody in Cleveland that wants to do Raymond James training, that's why I have Raymond James at the bottom there. We're doing training right here locally at their national headquarters. If they want to offer something in Ohio, Solon, then Cuyahoga Community College could go and deliver that for us, and we still get a percentage of that revenue. We did a similar deal with Harper Community College a couple years ago in Nokia. Nokia is based in Chicago, but they wanted to do training right here in St. Pete, so we were able to trade the curriculum. This will make it official. We'll have access to the 50 colleges, their curriculum, and we'll be participating in 24 countries as well. So to do this, we're going to add a few positions. One would be a director for the Global Corporate College, and then one would be a certificate program director. On the intake side, we want to take our students, we give them suitability exams, TABE testing, and Florida Ready to Work to find out what program would be best for them. That would be on the intake. The outreach is then to go help the student find a job. And that's where we've gotten, out of a 20-hour person, we've gotten 124 jobs to date. And and more to come, of course. And then the information technology for our deployed military and a lot of the IT work that's going on. When Wellcare calls and says they want 7 people at $60K, we got to have somebody that can go out and find that immediately. So nothing comes without a cost. The ask is $407,211. And of course, being in corporate training, I'm used to having to pay my own bills. So I had to come up with some models of what we were going to sell, how we were going to do that. And I keep coming up in the red the first year, but I can take money from my general ledger on the other stuff that we do, because we do a lot more in corporate training besides just what you've seen. So I've done it on 5 years. You can see the net, and then you can see the payback fund, and then the retained earnings. If we keep some retained earnings like they do in business, then we can create new programs, new certificates. New certificates sometimes come with a cost. We just did a deal with SAP and added 13 new certs to that, but sometimes you have to pay for that up front to be a part of their club. And with that, then we get certain study materials. We have to get a teacher certified that could come in and teach that. And then in 5 years, we'll have that paid back at the final cost. Still have some retained earnings to give back to the college. It's all Dr. Law's money anyways. Anyway, and that's what I have. You guys have any questions?
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to add is Jason's walking up too, the test center. I know he's going to talk about that, but we've been running weekends, we've been running evenings, and the test center is going to be open next week, so.
Hi, I'm Jason Krupp, Director of Workforce Services, and continuing on the theme of industry certifications, Jim and I and our team's been working together very closely to ramp up testing, and on the academic programs, we're asking for additional funds to support the cost of the industry certification exam vouchers. Last year we budgeted $60,000, and we will be spending all of those funds to pay for those vouchers, which remove the financial barriers for students to pay for those exams. So an additional $15,000 is requested next year to support the academic programs, students getting industry certified. Part of one of the big rationale for this is, as Dr. Settleman mentioned, the U-Certify software, which is going to embed those into the curriculum. So right now we have some students, we're just encouraging them to test in the testing centers. By embedding them, they're going to be preparing them all through the semester, and it'll be part of the course. So we're anticipating an increased number of students that will be testing starting in the fall semester. The next one is for Burning Glass. Burning Glass software has 2 components. There's a labor insight component, which is an internal facing piece where the deans have access to align their curriculum to ensure that the certifications that they're aligning with are preparing students for the workforce needs. And it also allows staff and career advising staff to access the labor market information reports, the real-time information, so that they can serve students better in the career centers and the advising areas. The other piece is student-facing, and that's called Career Focus. And this is the piece that we're currently piloting. We have about 200 students identified in targeted areas in manufacturing, in IT. Dr. Connolly is going to have it in his career and life planning class. We're asking for additional funds to support. We extended these licenses to 24 staff members at the college, so every dean has access to the labor insight component for the curriculum development, and also the staff, the career advisors have access to this. So we need additional $13,511 to sustain that level of access for staff throughout the colleges. And the next area is in workforce development. This is a request for community relation funds. Every year we host an annual event with the workforce advisory committees to have strategic discussions about the college and the direction of the academic workforce programs. This is an event that we hold annually, and we host breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and additional funds are needed to support the growing number of advisory committees because of the growing number of workforce programs and the cost of food for providing to these advisory committee members. So the second part of this is also community relations funds to request an enhanced and extended workforce council. Dr. Connolly and I have been working and talking about bringing in external partners to come and meet with us quarterly to have strategic discussions about regional efforts and initiatives to align our programs, and industry certification will be a major component of this. The hospitality funds are requested with the thought that these would be morning breakfast type meetings with opportunities to meet with Pinellas County Economic Development, Career Source, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber. So enhancing those external partnerships with our Workforce Council members to promote our strategic initiatives, again, focusing mainly on the industry certifications and workforce program alignment. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Vicki Westergaard, Online Learning and Services. So for the past couple of years, we've been talking about online revitalization, discussing new approaches to improve student success in online learning environment. Our next phase of this project is for standard course development. And in doing this in a whole new way with a team of people working alongside the faculty content experts, we've had to shift some resources, our instructional design specialists, away from supporting faculty on campus. This has left an unintended result of faculty not having support, especially the face-to-face faculty and the blended faculty on their campuses for instructional technology, for troubleshooting issues that they're having, and for learning new technologies for the classroom. In order to fill that gap, what we're proposing is to bring in a couple of additional instructional support technicians. They would work with one instructional technology specialist, and they would all report to our new instructional technology manager, who is our former course delivery manager, Michelle Piper, in working on not only providing that day-to-day support on the campus, but also in delivering our workshops and professional development for our faculty certification series and filling out those electives, giving those professional development opportunities. That will be, I think it's $98,000 and change for those two positions. And they would service a number of different campuses, circulating around as they needed to, and giving that additional support. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jamie Ferrazano. I work for Online Learning and Services. And what I'm asking for is under the category of strategic goals, academic and institutional enhancement, and the initiative is online revitalization. So what I'm going to talk about is what I'm asking for is a digital asset management system software. And I'm just going to go over the what and why really quick. So first, the why. As you know, online revitalization has been heavily invested here at SP College. I mean, it's evident by the new department and all the resources that go into it. What we're doing now is we're in the process of developing all of these learning objectives that fall with the objectives of courses. So these course objectives, and then we have learning objectives. So as we build these things and these videos that go along with it, we need a place to store them. Not only just to store them, but to categorize them, track them, search them, control them, version them. Right now we don't really have that. So we need a system that is easily accessible for faculty, that faculty can go in and find these objectives and be able to put them in their classes, and then fulfill the student learning objectives in the course. So that's what we're looking for, and this is basically a place to put all these videos that we can control and track a lot better. Any questions?
How much does that cost, Jamie? I didn't see
It's approximately, it's a rough estimate, around $60K recurring.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and those tuning in live. The success of the 4 existing Veteran Services Student Support Centers has been remarkable, and it's been well documented. Overall, veteran student growth is averaging 42% a year. Now, let me say that again. That's 42% a year. We now support over 2,300 military students. That is approximately equal to the entire student body of Jacksonville University. That is a small private institution in northern Florida that supports a 1AA football team as well as a Division I basketball team. The all-state downtown, Midtown, and health education centers are now boasting close to 700 student veterans. To put that in perspective, that's approximately the numbers we supported 6 years ago. Now they alone are supporting nearly 700 students. We aren't just poised for growth, the growth is occurring now. This influx will not stop, this will continue. The DoD is extolling the virtues of enrolling in college upon leaving military service. They're doing this through their highly successful Transition Assistance Program, which is a 6-day course in trying to reintegrate military personnel into civilian life. They are coming home in record numbers. So how do we benefit from this? We're going to benefit with continued growth and continued numbers. With those numbers comes the military can-do attitude and their built-in cultural diversity. But the real benefit to us is the guarantee of federal funds that come with the post-9/11 GI Bill. Every student veteran here averages approximately $2,640 in tuition a year. Now, those of you without calculators, that equates to $6.1 million a year in guaranteed tuition. It doesn't stop there. The benefit doesn't stop there. Those students also receive a basic allowance for housing, a cash stipend of $1,750 a month, per month. That equates to $2.1 million a month that is dumped into the local economy of this area, which we are a part of. Let me put this into final perspective. These men and women defended our right to stand here today and ask for all this stuff. Now they're coming to St. Pete College to help us pay for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Amy Stubbs, and I am the new Director of Disability Resources. We're going to start by our first slide here. Describes what has occurred in job placement for our students with disabilities because of our Able Trust grant that we've had for the past several years. And Kelly Ferrante, our job development specialist, has done a tremendous job getting students involved, doing workshops with students on soft skills and social skills to help develop their job placement and job development. We've worked with all types of disabilities, we've worked with all types of industry, and Kelly's even gotten involved in the community by getting on chambers of commerces and working with groups that normally would not open their doors to students with disabilities. We want to continue to see the growth in job placement and job development for our students with disabilities, and possibly encourage students from the beginning on. We want to look at the holistic approach to when a person first comes to us and transitions in from high school to looking at essential functions and technical standards of programs, and this person would be able to pull that in. As you can see, 250 students have already been placed in jobs within the past several years due to the efforts of our job development and job placement specialist. Our next slide is going to discuss an information management system. What we've done in disability resources, we've had a work in progress with collaboration. We've done collaborative labs, and we've seen people go from looking at disability resources as just the 2 C's, compliance and confidentiality, to consistency, collaboration, communication, in addition to the other 2 C's of just compliance and confidentiality. So now we are looking at an information management system that will tie all of that together. Right now we need to look at not only the compliance of a user-friendly atmosphere for students, but something that can communicate with faculty. We deal with varying aspects of the college, from furniture to security to online compliance. And so we need to tie that together, and we need to make sure that we have our forms online so things can be streamlined. We need the consistency throughout all of our campuses. And we need to make sure that all of our online students can interface in an accessible manner with our offices and have a to-do checklist, know exactly what they need to do, and that we don't lose any of those gray area students that come to our campuses and that don't have all of their documentation in place, that we could still provide a supportive environment for them and something that they can access even out of their homes or if they're a distant student. So this management system, what we found was when we went to other colleges and said, how are you doing this? They many times have designed systems that coordinate with the disability resources departments and the needs of the students and the faculty to tie all that together. And that is what we are looking at in this information management system. Yes. Again, we're looking at the college experience as a whole, and we're seeing an increase in our veterans population. You all you have heard several times disabilities increasing from different areas. Well, one area is our veterans population and our students with auditory processing deficits and learning disabilities. Right now, we have several different things in place for those, note-taking. We also have interpreters for our deaf or hard of hearing students. And then we have C-print captionists, and that is live captioning. We found that the greatest increase that we see with our returning soldiers, 60% in fact returning from Afghanistan and the current war in Iraq, is the students that have hard of hearing. So they have deficits in different areas, particularly with the auditory processing. This C-print captionist can caption online, let the student follow along in class, but also provide a transcript for the instructor and any student that might need notes in the classroom. So this is technology. It's very expensive if we look at contracting or asking for other services, OPS. And so we would like to suggest a captionist to be on campus to help with faculty, students, and staff needs. Next, we look at different progression, retention, and all academic pathways. One of these areas that we need is supportive of the online, somebody to tie it all together. We currently do not have an administrative specialist or administrative service specialist in the disability resources for central location of tying together all of our grant funding, all the forms, and student requests. The last thing we want is call from general counsel, or we love them and we work with them a lot, but we really want to make sure that if a student has a request or that if a faculty or we need the paperwork in place, there's a lot of processes in our department and we need a central person to help tie that all together. Thanks. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Bennett, and I'm speaking on behalf of Financial Assistance Services, and we have 2 budget requests. Thanks, Doug. The first one is for a financial assistance counselor on the Health Education Center. The Health Education Center is the only campus where we currently do not have staff, and there are currently 4,000 financial aid recipients who take classes there. We feel our students need face-to-face advising and timely advice on how to use their limited financial aid funds. Our second request is for $10,000 to offer to our students interactive video entrance and exit counseling. Current regulations require all our students to go through entrance and exit counseling, and our business partner, I3 Group Senate, is now offering this counseling and has video as part of it. Joe mentioned that zombies are cool, but I would say these three little monsters are a lot of fun, and our staff and our students have gone through the counseling, and we were surprised how informative it was, and we feel our students will enjoy it. That concludes my presentation. Any questions? Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Susan Fell, Director of Admissions and Records. Thank you for the opportunity to present today, and to you, Dr. Law. What I'm proposing for the college is intelligent capture solution. What is that? The statement of the problem is that right now we receive hundreds, thousands of documents in admissions and records and at the campuses. These all have to be manually entered into our PeopleSoft database. Additionally, they have to be imaged. We have the imaging system which integrates with this software solution. So from those transcripts and test scores that we get in there, entered into PeopleSoft, and there's opportunity for errors through manual data entry, and it just takes time. I know that advisors at the campuses get frustrated because the process for posting transfer credits is not fast enough. Students come in the day that they're admitted and they want to know how their transfer credits are going to post to their record. In 2014, this is a slide of how many hard copy documents come in. You might think that most of our transcripts come in from Florida, and a lot of our transcripts are received electronically. Those are moving right into our database, PeopleSoft. But all of the hard copy documents have to be manually entered. We had 25,000 hard copy documents received in 2014. So about 44,000 transcripts a year, which means that about 56% of the transcripts that are coming in are hard copy documents. So what is the solution? We believe that this intelligent capture solution, which I'll tell you about in a minute, would be perfect, because rather than imaging after the data is manually entered, the imaging process would occur first. Not only would the documents be imaged, but this new fourth generation OCR technology, which is optical character recognition, can actually convert the information that's on a transcript, extract it, and push it into PeopleSoft without the need for manual data entry. This is a picture of what it looks like. So you put in the document into your scanning system, which we already have. The OCR technology goes to work and is actually interpreting what it sees on the page. And by the way, OCR technology is old technology, but it is highly involved. It's very smart, and it learns as it goes. It can bring in tables and all kinds of specific data. It classifies the document into college transcripts, high school transcripts, test scores, military transcripts. It extracts that, and then we do have an opportunity to review to a certain threshold of confidence, perhaps 98%. If it's pulling in everything, we can let it go on into PeopleSoft. If it's anything less than that, we would have a human look at it. And by working with it, you're actually teaching it to learn better for the next time we get a transcript from that institution. We believe that there would be a lot of advantages for students and staff. You know, admissions and records serve students and staff. So by being able to push the documents into PeopleSoft without manual data entry, advisors would be able to see the information faster, utilize the information for their advising sessions with students. I also think this would give St. Pete College a competitive advantage in recruiting students who would know that their transfer credits would be posted quickly and so they could make good choices about their future. The cost in first year, there's a lot of one-time costs. This is all technology, no people. $148,000, and then beyond that, about $20,000 a year for the continuing software maintenance. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Good morning, buenos dias, bon dia, masalam, konnichiwa, nihama. There will be a test after my presentation to see if you recognize some of those languages. Good morning. My name is Ramona Kirsch, and I'm Director of International Programs for St. Pete College, and it's my privilege to be here this morning to share with you two budget proposals that I have for consideration. The first budget proposal request is designed to fully fund study abroad scholarships for our next academic year. We project 15 programs, a record high, in 10 different countries. Now, in order for our programs to run, as most of you know, we have to have a minimum number of students participating. And the Excel spreadsheet attachment that I put with this proposal details those programs and the number of students required, which are 103. So we're asking for 103 scholarships. We find the sweet spot is $2,000 for short-term study abroad programs and $4,000 for full semester programs. So we're asking for about $208,000. Now, to put that in perspective, the trend since I've been here for 2.5 years, about 1/3 of all study abroad participants have SPC scholarships. So this means if we were able to fully fund 103 scholarships, we would be at a record high of close to 300 of our students studying abroad. The highest we've ever had is last year at 108. So we're asking for quite a big ask here. We know that this type of funding is essential for our students. There's no question there. We also know that study abroad is very important for their personal development. We all agree with Mark Twain, who said long ago that travel is indeed fatal to prejudice and bigotry and narrow-mindedness. And we also agree and know that those students who have study abroad in their background, their resumes float to the top and are more competitive in the workforce. However, as shown in the Inside Higher Ed article that I also attached with this proposal, new research shows that study abroad is linked with on-time graduation, a very high priority for this institution. This proposal is in line with the College Experience Student Success strategic goal and provides more support to the progress, retention, completion, and academic pathway initiatives. For this reason, along with this request, will be a tracking of our study abroad students via business intelligence. I've worked with Jesse to already develop a study abroad group. And we will study the retention, graduation, and work placement of our study abroad students. And having this sustainable tracking will allow us to make long-term, data-driven decisions about our study abroad program. Now, in the best of all possible worlds, we would, of course, have 100% of our students traveling abroad and experiencing that. But we know that may not happen in the near future. So the second proposal is designed to bring the world to SPC, as it were. This proposal is to strategically put in place international programming initiatives on all campuses within the college to provide enhanced learning to our students and to provide opportunities for training and professional development for all of our staff and faculty with global engagement in mind at the local level to allow, in short, all of SPC community to go global. Now, this proposal is asking for a little over $90,000 to fund 11 different program initiatives. There are 5 extracurricular initiatives for students listed in this proposal that include ensuring regular international programming on all campuses, such as visiting lectures, arts, performing arts and visual arts, international performers, engagement with local heritage groups and international businesses in the area, as well as the development of an international program pathway to be placed inside degree programs so that students may graduate with a global distinction designation on their transcripts. Now, this is in addition to the 6 initiatives we have for faculty and staff professional development opportunities, such as annually sending a group of SPC faculty staff to the COIL conference, the Collaborative Online International Learning, so that we can enhance and even make more competitive our already innovative online programs. Also, to provide more faculty exchanges. Currently, in the 2 years I've been here, we've only allowed to send 2 faculty to do exchanges, and to regularly host Fulbright scholars to be in our classrooms. Since my tenure here, we've had none. As illustrated in the recent Chronicle of Higher Education article that I also attached with this proposal, the failure of institutions to implement comprehensive international programs, such as I outline here, is, and I quote, a recipe for marginalization and ultimately irrelevance. I don't believe SPC wants to be marginal or irrelevant. SPC is moving the needle, and really in real ways that have student success in mind with academic and instructional enhancements. And this proposal is in line with that strategic goal so that we may provide our students a relevant college education in a global marketplace and have all of our faculty and staff trained and globally engaged to provide that excellent education. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions or clarifications. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Sabino, Executive Director of Marketing and Strategic Communications. And this morning I'm here to request funding for the Constituent Relationship Management Software, otherwise known as CRM. The purpose of CRM is to put students at the center of everything we do by providing them with relevant, timely, and personalized communications in a consistent and easy to understand manner. The CRM allows us to be proactive and to integrate information across functional areas in different departments and different campuses so that every employee has information at their fingertips in order to best service our students. We also are requesting a reclassification of a position for CRM director within this. However, there are no funds required for that reclassification. The total cost was created by the project plan, which was developed by the 3 senior vice presidents. The project plan is based on the number of seats that are needed and with the implementation schedule as the implementation occurs. The bottom line of the detailed spreadsheet, which I've attached, shows the final request amounts per year, and they include non-recurring Title III funds that reduce the cost of the initial funding, and there's also $35,000 in the technology that is in the technology budget that is recurring per year that will help to fund this request. That will reduce the total budget request to $213,416 recurring per year after 4 years. That concludes my presentation, if there are not any questions. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Linda Hogans. I'm the Executive Director of Retention Services. And I am before you at this time to make a request for Women on the Way. We have, over the past several years, grown from 200 and some odd students up to about 49% of our students, over 400 students that we're serving over the past several years. We have been charged with working with our Midtown campus to provide some resource information for them, and we've been doing that. We have students on all 8 sites here at the college. Initially, primarily, they were on the Clearwater campus. And so what we found, though, is with the support on the Seminole campus, working in the Student Success Center, and that focus on women on the way and what's happening at Clearwater, we have more student participation. Where we are having some challenges is with those campuses that are farther away from both of those sites, and Midtown is one of those. We also have students at the All-State Center. So what we're looking to do is seek support to not only expand our services to other campuses, but also to extend our hours. We have had quite a few student requests to be able to have office hours in the evening because a lot of them work and they still like to be a part of what's happening, so they'd like to be able to come in the evenings. And so we're requesting a position to support that effort in the college experience for this population that has a dynamic that is sometimes well beyond some of the experiences of our first time in college students. The other piece to that is we're looking to expand how we garner dollars for scholarships with our students. Primarily, the dollars are coming with what we have at the Clearwater campus and through the foundation. We'd like to be able to extend into other communities that support for students with scholarships and other donations that are really critical to the success of the program. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Joanne Hopkins, and on behalf of the Ethics Department and Dean Susan Demers, this request is for academic honesty intervention. The request is to design 2 courses. The first would be a 4-week course that would deal with plagiarism and more minor academic honesty violations. The second course would be an 8-week course, and this would be for more flagrant academic honesty violations. This is all about student success and to help these students who are going to be in our college to succeed. And well, academic honesty is a concern for all colleges and all universities. And right now, we do have an academic honesty policy. And the academic honesty policy, if a student violates, if it's very bad, it's expulsion. But many students get a mark on their record. And those are the students who are going to stay here at the college. Those are the students that we want to educate with these courses. Now, they need to learn about the academic honesty policy, of course, but more they need to know how to apply that academic honesty policy and how to apply critical thinking skills to the act that they have committed. And if they learn how to do that and educate themselves, then it won't happen again. They can succeed. And that's what we want to do. We want them to learn how they have harmed themselves, how they have harmed the college, how they have harmed other students by doing this action. Instead of just marking their record, with these courses, we will be able to educate the students so they can succeed. How would this work? A violation happens. The faculty, together with the administration, would determine if one of these courses is appropriate, and the student would then be registered into one of these courses. It would be a one-time shot, okay? So it would take away their mark on their record. So it's similar to driving school, where, you know, you can get your points off. Can this course work could be a question. Yes. I have a similar course right now. The Ethics Department works with the Florida Department of Education for educators who are in K through 12. And if they violate their code of ethics, they have to take an 8-week course, which I instruct. And I tell you, they don't want to be there. They're there because they're forced to be there. They could lose their job if they don't get a B in the course. And they have no problem telling me that they don't want to take this course. But the change I see at the end is what's amazing. At the end, these same people will tell me they wish that every educator had the chance to take this course. They wish that they had this course before, because then the incident would never have happened. And that's what we want to do for our students. Now, I've discussed this project with some faculty, and of course, they want to educate the students. Dean Demers is definitely pushing for this. And I've also mentioned it to some of the members of the student government who want this implemented. And it's not just to punish, it's to educate, so our students can succeed at our college and throughout their career. Questions? Thank you very much.
All right, we're right on time for lunch. I see it. Looks like it's about set up in the back.